I am Kevin Harrington. I'm one of the original founders of the cinema TV industry, the infomercial concept, and done about 500 projects with some stars like Tony Little and Jack LaLanne and George Foreman and lots of different people, and that use that to leverage myself into a TV show called Shark Tank for a couple 175 segments or so, and I'm just now I'm sort of an investor slash partner with companies that are developing products and taking products and or businesses to the next level. So I go under a couple different entities. Harrington Business Development is one of my corporations. That's a holding company of various ventures that I have.
Very cool. My name is Jason Lees. I live in East Lansing, Michigan. I'm currently about to be a senior at Northwood University, and I'm the co-founder of GoSpot. GoSpot is a lens water repellent designed for cameras to prevent water spots from sticking to the lens that ruin footage while filming in wet conditions. So that was just kind of a big problem that we saw, and we needed kind of figured a way to kind of make a solution for that problem. So my question that I had was, how do I grow a product-based business while knowing when to hire the right kind of talent?
Okay, so great question. And I've had a number of product-based businesses. So when you look at the business, what I like to first analyze are, what are the assets that you need to grow that business. So you've got a product. You need to have manufacturing. You need, so that means sourcing, manufacturing, maybe prototyping, further refinement and development. So that's kind of one function. You need a finance department that's going to help you. And when I say department, I don't necessarily mean you go out and hire all of this, and we'll get to that in a second. But you need manufacturing experience. You need accounting and finance experience, because you've got to be able to run your numbers, understand what are the cost of goods, what's it cost to get it into the warehouse, what are the packaging costs, the box costs. There's so many costs involved, and sometimes people just, they forget something small like the freight to get it to the warehouse. So you need someone that's really good in finance and, accounting. Then you need some great marketing and distribution people also. So I say when companies are first starting today, instead of hiring all these people, I use the term, having access to assets, or, partnering with people, or I'll use the word renting is a low-class way of saying it. Sometimes you can rent some great talent, and it's not necessary to. I use sourcing people for my business, and even when we're fully developed, because they're the best at what they do with certain kinds of products, and they're sourcing, and they're in China. I don't have the travel costs, etc. And I give them a little couple points of the transactions that they source. So I contract out sourcing and manufacturing. Finance, you can sometimes just have maybe a really good mentor or somebody that really knows finance, but that isn't necessarily a full-time person either. So rent that person also. And then on marketing and distribution, these are also, in many cases, it's agencies that provide that kind of work. You can get a digital agency for testing. You can get retail distribution. There are what are called reps that can get you into Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, et cetera, et cetera. So in the old days, we used to hire a lot of these kinds of people. But today, I prefer to use like a SWAT team approach of consultants, experts, mentors, and people that I can pay a percentage, because if I have big salaries, it costs a lot of money. You got to raise a lot of money to build the business. If I could just pay them a percentage of they source it, and I pay them a percentage of everything I buy from their source. I'm only buying if I've got orders, and so I'm using the orders to pay for the purchasing, which pays for their service. So so anyway, this is all now in down the line. We talked about manufacturing, finance, marketing, distribution. The one thing that you do have to do, you've got to set up some systems, and you need websites, operational stuff like for processing the orders. You need merchant accounts, all that kind of stuff. So there you're going to have to write a couple checks because it's hard. You might find a website guy that'll do it for a percentage or equity. You can always give away equity to people along the way also. But bottom line is, you could probably get even, there are some web developers that'll work entrepreneurially, but let's just say you should go build your own site so you own it and control it across the board. So at the end of the day, I do all of those things on the cheap until I get really good volumes going. And then once we get to where we need a finance guy in-house, then where we got so many transactions and you need someone to really look out for the daily cash flows and the chargebacks and all that stuff, it might be 3 to 6 months in before you need a full-time finance guy. But there are these finance to go kind of places, CPA rental services almost, placement agencies. So, I always recommend, again, utilizing part-time people until you need full-time. So again, in general, I try to utilize experts, mentors, and partners in the beginning phases. And then once you got good cash flow going, 3 to 6, 9 months down the road, you can start looking at actually hiring these people and bringing them in-house because it'll save you money. And it also, just for example, we've had rental of a finance guy before where they're not really staying on top of your day-to-day chargebacks, for example. And that's something that when people say, I didn't get it or I don't like it, they call their bank and charge it back. There's fraud there too. If you don't have somebody in place that's good, if they're missing these things, you can all of a sudden, be losing tens of thousands of dollars a day, a week, a month, whatever, if you don't have a really good in-house guy. So sometimes you got to be real careful not to wait too long to bring in this hire that might be someone good. But just one last point I'll make is it's good to get somebody that has experience in the product business, the shipping side of it, the chargeback side of it. And, don't look at a guy with a resume where he comes out of just some kind of a corporate environment and think, oh, he's got real good financial skills. You need people that, especially if you're a young company, that have experience in, if they were an ex-Amazon finance person, that's good because they're used to this world of sourcing, shipping, packaging, distribution, etc., banking, order processing. It's a specialized industry that you're in. So make sure that you get somebody that knows your particular industry. So I think that's, in terms of the hiring, that's good. There's one last thing that you need. You need some good creative people. That's because when you mentioned it prevents water spots, the first thing that hit me was if I were creating a little video for you, you want some magical transformations where you're going to show some really, poor looking water spots all over the lens kind of thing. And now, oh, look at my product. So, you need a little bit of creative. You need some good guys in that world, whether they're producers, writers, directors, camera people, whatever. You want to be able to create a really good little video that explains your product. And that's important. So make sure you got a couple decent creative guys that are good with copy and shooting and getting you a nice little video also.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate that my co-founder, he kind of had a side business of a video or a production company. He did videos for celebrities and stuff like that too. So yeah. We do all our videos in-house right now too. We just made a little kind of professional commercial looking thing that we're pretty happy with the outcome of it. But
I'll take a look at it for you offline and give you some comments on it too, by the way.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
Feel free to send it to me and James can track me down on it. I'll give you a response if I have any thought. We've shot hundreds and hundreds of videos, so I love, getting a fresh perspective to see where you're coming from.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I really appreciate that.
Well, it sounds like the one thing you said that hit me right away, and I'm glad I heard it out of your mouth, was you said it solves a problem. And that's the first thing that I look for in a product is what problem does it solve unique enough that no other product is solving that same problem in exactly the same fashion. So, it's funny because I've seen windshield, a headlamp cleaning products on the shopping channels and things like that. And, they put a bonding thing on the top of it so it repels afterwards. And, so I think there's some great demos that you could probably figure out how to utilize for the visual aspect of selling the product.
Definitely.
All right. Well, good luck, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for your time.
You bet.
Thank you, Kevin.